All right, it's time to get working on the E39. First of all, let me tell you, Wagon life has been so good to me. I've owned this car for a few days and I'm just absolutely in love with the Wagon. The E39 is just something else, man. Totally fits my vibe. The Style 5s really grew on me. Love them. So far, the only thing I've done to this car is just a nice deep clean. Did a little detailing on the inside, simple wash on the outside, and we changed the spark plugs, which were in really, really bad form. Also had oil inside of the spark plug tubes, which tells me the valve cover is bad. So we'll probably end up doing a valve cover as well. I think I'm gonna just refresh the entire cooling system on this car also. Some of the hoses are looking a little bit old for me. I think I also have a line on a new hood for us too that's already painted in black, so that's gonna work out well. I also replaced the ambient air sensor and now I don't have that dash light warning. Cleared that off easily, and the first order of business today, man, just to get this thing looking a little bit better, I gotta do something about these headlights, dude. They're just killing me, like completely destroying my vibe with this car. Ultimately, you know, I am gonna go to the Euro style headlights, which are just a little bit different, a lot nicer, and like $2,000 to get them. Eventually, we will get them, but for right now, we're gonna do what we can just to make this thing look better without spending a ton of money, because why not? Gonna be losing the yellow fogs, don't really love them. Going with the OEM clear ones, gonna be going back to the OEM chrome grille, and then I'm probably going to just do like a one-step polishing on this car, just sort of bring this paint back to life, and then when the new hood gets here, we'll just throw that on. Other than that, dude, I'm just driving it. It's so good. Absolutely loving this car, man. This car also has the factory airbags in the rear, and they actually work, which is pretty rare. So the car will self-level in the back. If there's more weight in the back, if I put something in the trunk, it'll actually level back out. Pretty cool feature. All right, so to make this happen, how do we do this? There's a couple of parts to this process. It's pretty easy, to be honest with you. The option outside of this is to just go ahead and replace the lenses, because you can take these off. You just have to reseal them when you put them back on. A very, very easy way to just bring these back to life is use a couple of different grits of sandpaper. We'll probably start out with a 400 to 800 grit. We're gonna get all of this haze off, and then I'm gonna take out the polisher and we'll just go ahead and polish it, make it nice and clear. That will last us at least long enough until I need to get the upgraded Euro headlights, which are just totally different than this. It's gonna completely change the front end. Makes the E39 look a lot better. But I figured this would be a fun little DIY project. I've never done a DIY video on fixing headlight lenses, so why not? And these I feel like are a great candidate because they just look so bad, dude. They're so rough. We're gonna be able to see a lot better at night too. So without further ado, let's get into it. Get some things taken off. We're gonna start by taping everything off. This ain't rocket science. We just don't want to sand any of the paint. All right, cool. I'm good with that. We're just gonna use a little bit of water. They're nice and wet. Wetter the better. I'm gonna start with 800, and you're gonna already see a difference. This milkiness will come right off almost immediately. So with that, do a little square here, and I'm just dipping it in the water while I sand it. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. I can guarantee you that. I did this to my E92 M3 when I first got it, and it made a huge difference. See all the milkiness on there. So there's definitely some pitting that we're not going to be able to do much with. Now I'm going to move up to 1,000. Now let's move up to the 2,000. All right, so you can see where we're at right now. Lots of little stress fractures in this plastic. Those unfortunately will not come out, but you saw all of the milkiness come out of the headlight. And now we'll wipe it down with some isopropyl alcohol and a rag, and then we'll go ahead and polish. some polishing in. Rather large polisher for a small area. A lot better. A lot better. Not freaking bad, dude. It's really not bad. And we're gonna just do another pass here. See if I can't like get it to just get a little bit better. It's good though. It looks a lot better. It's not bad. It's not bad. I am missing a bracket piece that goes down here. I gotta buy that. It's like the trim for the bumper. I might do like a simple paint correction on the fender just to show you guys like the difference with paint, but this looks pretty freaking good, man. All right, here's the progress report, you guys. Right side looks amazing. Turned out really, really good. There are some flaws in the plastic itself, the cracking, nothing I can really do about that. But dude, it looks way better than it did before. I mean, like the 5-footer, it looks perfect. Left side, not so great. Just looks a bit hazy. It's good. I mean, it's better for sure. There's just more cracking. I think this one might be older and that one might have been replaced at one point, but whatever. It's better than it was before. I mean, they were like yellow before, so anything is better than that. So I guess I could like go back in and sand that back down and just redo the whole thing if I really wanted to, but I don't know. What's the point? I mean, I am getting brand new headlights at some point here anyways, so this'll do for now. She looks a lot better than she did before. Simple, easy process to do at home. And you know, if they're super old, this makes it a lot better. The E92 M3 headlights had like a little bit of haze on them originally when I got the car, and these turned out flawless. Like they look brand new without even replacing the lenses. So I think it just depends on how far gone the actual lenses are on the headlights. But for something this old, you'd be way better off just like replacing the plastic lens. And it's really not that hard to do either. So I did order the Style 65 M5 wheels. Let me tell you something, dude. Those are not cheap. They don't make the rears anymore. So it is incredibly hard to find a set of 4 rears because I'm doing the rear size all the way around, which is 18 by 9.5 on all 4 corners. You can run it on these cars. You just have to run a 3mm spacer up front to clear the coil. So that was what I ended up doing, and I found a guy who basically just like hoards M5 parts and so ended up buying a set from him for like $2,200 shipped. However, they have to be refinished, so I'm gonna have Prince Wheels here in North Carolina do the complete refinishing in that like shadow chrome M5 color. I want them like as close to factory as possible, but dude, those are gonna look so hot on this car. Style 5s, not bad. M5 wheels, way better. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna wash this thing, and then I'm gonna do a little bit of correction. I actually hit the fender here, and it looks nice, man. This paint is gonna clean up really, really good because it's been untouched for so long. Before we do that, I'm gonna change the oil. I have not changed the oil on this car. Don't know when it was last changed, but judging by the spark plugs, dude, it's probably gonna be time. So I'd rather just knock it out and take care of it now. Let's do the oil. I'm not seeing any metal. I'm just seeing a lot of junk, which tells me this has been in there for a long time. She definitely needed an oil change. No metal though. That's good. It's looking good, man. Honestly, looking really good. I'm not seeing anything to be concerned about. Heck yeah, dude. So it was definitely time, but the engine is in good shape outside of some seals and gaskets. Other than that, she's looking healthy. Let's go ahead and drain it. Looks pretty dry. I did just spray a little bit of brake cleaner, clean some things off. I'm going to actually get some purple power out and blast all of this underneath here so I can see where any fresh leaks are coming from. Definitely going to be doing some work on the cooling system. Idler pulley is making noise, gonna have to replace that. Power steering line is leaking, valve cover is leaking, oil pan gasket's leaking, oil filter housing gasket is leaking. I'm gonna have to spray this thing off because there's just a lot of old gunk. Gonna have to degrease this and then just see where any fresh leaks come from. Other than the leaks though, everything else looks really good, which is all we want to see. We want to make sure there's no like damage, no rust, anything like that. Looks really good. Great. Threads look good. It's always a nice sign. Fresh crush washer. New day, we've got some awesome things coming up. E92 M3 inductive wireless charger, JQ Works steering wheel for the E92 M3, but today we are still working on the Wagon. Man, I am loving Wagon life. However, my speedometer has not worked since I bought the car. So I'm diagnosing a wheel speed sensor issue. I replaced the front two already. We're gonna replace the rear two now and see if that solves the issue. The speedometer just does not work. But man, outside of that, absolutely loving Wagon life, dude. Got to do the rear window regulators still. Right now I'm moving storage units and Wagon life has been good to me. It's definitely something I didn't know that I needed in my life, but I'm just loving having all this room and being able to work on this car. It's really an awesome chassis. So I ended up building out the build sheet. As you guys know, I always build these build sheets with these cars when I do all the parts, and I'll have it linked down below and you can really see all the stuff that I'm going to be doing to this car. It's going to be, man, it's going to have an extensive restoration. I think I'm looking at about $9,000 in parts that I'm going to restore on this car, from suspension to just engine, cooling, braking. Got a really cool upgrade for this car in terms of OEM suspension and OEM braking. If you go into the sheet, you will see all the stuff that I'm gonna be upgrading on this car. I've also ordered a bunch of stuff already. Like I've got the M5 steering wheel coming, I've got the M5 rear view mirror coming, I've got the M5 side mirrors coming, ordered new headlight lenses. Decided to keep these ones for now, just gonna go ahead and put new lenses on. Ordered a new grill, ordered new fog lights. Having a really hard time finding a local hood. Just trying to find one that's within like 100 miles. Don't even care if it's black. I'm having the car repainted anyways. I just need something that's straight and not all messed up. So that's been taxing. Outside of that, I think I figured out what I'm gonna do with the trim on the interior. I was really back and forth with the wood. The problem with the wood, I love the wood, you guys. I think it looks really good in this car. The problem with it is you can't find any E39 wood trim that isn't damaged. I mean, all of them are cracked, and I just kind of feel like I'm gonna be battling that beast constantly, so I might just switch over to the piano black, or like the darker colored trim, and just go that route, because none of those are cracking the way that the wood is, and I think the wood, just the material is different with that epoxy that they put over it, and all of it just cracks. So thinking about ditching the wood. I am thinking about keeping the gray in here for the most part. However, the pillars and the headliner is going to be going to black. Still haven't decided what to do with the seats. Just got so many options, you know what I mean? So today, let's hope that we can fix this stupid ABS issue, man. It's just been annoying to not have the speedometer work, and I'm like 99% certain that this is the reason. I'm assuming it's the rear left based on the code, but I'm still kind of guessing. I did remove the rear left and just replugged it in, just cleaned it because it was dirty as hell. And I removed the right and cleaned it, but it didn't do anything. So replace the front two, clean the rears, but still have the issue. So I'm going to assume that our problem is not the front, it is the rear, and they must just be toast. That is where it's located, and the wires look a little sus. Let's see what happens when we replace it. New. Okay, started raining, but we finished it up. Hurricane Debbie is amongst us. So we've got the rear left replaced, and let's see if that did it. Let's see. I'll be honest with you, I don't have the highest of hopes. No, I don't think it did it. Damn it. So we gotta replace the right rear. Right rear is the only one that I have not replaced yet. Well, if it ain't that one, then I checked fuses, all the fuses were good. The weird thing is, like a week ago when I first bought the car, it was working, and then it stopped working. And I know it's got an ABS light on right now, but it's throwing the code for the wheel sensor. So it's gotta be the right rear then. Gotta be. So we'll see, replace one more and then see what happens then. Older cars, man. That's what it's all about. Just fixing one thing after another. Okay, let's try this again. Right rear replaced. Oh, if it ain't this, man, I don't know what it is. The hopes aren't high. We've replaced all 4 speed sensors. Okay, so ABS unit. I mean, we already know that we have a light on for ABS, so we definitely have an issue going on there. I'm gonna check the fuses one more time, just to make sure that there's nothing weird going on there. I mean, I guess this could be instrument cluster issue, maybe? Can't be the wheel speed sensors though. Those are all replaced now. You guys, drop your comments down below and tell me what you think it could be. We've replaced all of the wheel speed sensors. We've checked the fuses. I'm gonna check them again right now. All right, back to the drawing board. Let you know what I figure out. So one thing that I have learned about this car is that the wiring, my boy before me, previous owner was doing some frickin' something back here, man. He was Edward Scissorhands with the wiring. He was going crazy. So I keep finding plugs that are just unplugged. Like this side was a total mess with the amp and everything. Everything was unplugged. This is still unplugged right now because I think something's wrong with this amp, and I'm still diagnosing that, but all of these were unplugged, wires were cut. I started putting things back together, and I have audio now, but I don't have, it's not clear. There's like a weird feedback loop, and I think something's wrong with that amp. Nonetheless, my boy was getting crafty with with his hands, and you know how it is, man. Some people, like, they say that they're techs and they, you know, just, they're like DIYers, but they just work on things not the correct way, and they just start cutting things and putting relays in. And this car had aftermarket, well, it has aftermarket halos, these right here, and he was powering those with 2 power cables with a relay and a ground, and they were spliced into all these different things, and there was like open wires. It was all bad. So the car was having issues. Basically the headlights and taillights, all the lights on the exterior of the car would just turn on randomly, and they would stay on for hours, and then they would just turn off. He was obviously causing issues with the way that he wired things. I removed all that junk and went back to the way it was, OEM, and now I've had 0 issues with it. Of course, you know, once you start going crazy with wiring, especially on these old E-Series, you're just creating more problems. So this has been a common theme in this car. I am slowly having to just convert everything back to the way it was from factory, because he was just like unplugging and cutting wires and just going crazy. There's definitely signs of water back here, so that's not good. I don't know where this is supposed to go. As far as the length is concerned, feels like it belongs somewhere over here. I have to look at the wiring diagram and see what goes where. All right, it's a new day. New fog lights are in. Gonna be swapping out the yellow ones, going with the clear. I think these are gonna look a lot better. Also received one of the many parts that I've ordered. This is the tray piece. I'm still having issues with the speedometer on this car. I'm trying to figure out what it is. Tomorrow I'm gonna take it to the shop and plug it into the scanner that can read a bit deeper into the car's computer to figure out exactly what else might be triggering this. Not sure if it's the instrument cluster, because this is an intermittent issue, so it kind of just comes in and out, but replacing all of the wheel speed sensors did not fix it. And we also still have the ABS light on the dash. Those two things could be intertwined. One could be triggering the other and vice versa, but I'm just gonna have to keep diagnosing this obviously until I figure it out. You guys, if you have any suggestions, leave them down below. It's always weird when you're dealing with these older cars because there could just be a whole slew of issues. Like your wiring harness could have gotten wet at some point, could be damaged. A lot of times connections just break over time from the heat cycles. Those wires can get brittle, etc., etc. So we could just be dealing with like a wiring issue within the harness somewhere, which would really suck. That means that I'm gonna have to do way more work than I'm already doing just replacing some of the parts, but we'll see. We're gonna have to dive into it. I don't really care too much about the lights on the dash. Like I can code a lot of that stuff out. The main things that I care about, I just want my speedometer to work, and the mile per gallon gauge as well at the bottom, it is also not working. So whatever is affecting the speedometer, it's also affecting the mile per gallon gauge, which makes sense. You're gonna need to be able to read the speed to know how much fuel you're burning. So we will see. This is just the reality of buying like a super old car like this and just trying to restore everything back to the way it was. It is a lot of work and it's a lot of time and it's a lot of money. And for most people, older cars like this, it's not really worth it to them, but I personally love it. I love the challenge of trying to figure out what is wrong with it. How can I fix it? How can I get this car back to like 1999 showroom quality when it was released? Obviously, it'll never be that perfect, but we can get it pretty close. So originally I did have a line on a hood and that one fell through. Turns out that seller had already sold it and there are just no E39 5 Series hoods near me. I might have to bite the bullet and get one shipped. Kind of sucks because shipping is like twice as much as the actual cost of the hood. It's just the way it is with freight. Obviously a big ass hood needs to be shipped with freight. Freight is not cheap right now, but I can't get this car painted until I do that. So it's like, I might as well just go ahead and bite the bullet and do it. So that will likely be happening in the near future as well. But honestly, other than that, I've been dailying this car for the week now and I love it. It's been such a good, comfortable daily driver. Tons of room in it, especially for right now when I'm moving storage units. If you guys are wondering where the 1 Series is, it is in storage. It's in storage right now for the time being while I rebuild this car and just get this up to par. I wish I had more room to keep them all here, but I don't. I did not sell the 1 Series. I'm never selling that car. It is chilling, it is hibernating, and I have been building the new rear subframe for that car in the background. It will be happening soon. But yeah, I just wanted to finish off this video and kind of show you where we are at. I know there's like no real resolution to this issue yet, but I'm hoping that maybe you guys have some experience with this and you might be able to point me in the right direction. Like I said, I've replaced all of the wheel speed sensors. I've checked all of the fuses. The fuses are completely fine. I have not pulled out the instrument cluster yet to see what's going on behind there. I just don't really feel like that's the issue. It's possible, but I don't feel like that's the issue. issue. I guess we could have wheel speed sensor wiring issue somewhere like deeper in the car. That could always be the case. ABS unit, I don't know if the ABS unit ties into wheel speed sensors and detecting the speedometer, maybe. I don't know. Hopefully tomorrow when I go to the shop and I scan it and I get a deeper scan on the car, I might be able to figure some things out. But as of right now, honestly, I have no idea. I remember on my E36 M3, sometimes the tachometer wouldn't work. It wouldn't read RPMs, and I would literally just like give it a smack on the dashboard and it would all of a sudden work. So that is common in these older E-Series cars, like speedometers and tachometers just kind of go in and out, like it's a weird intermittent issue. So it could be the instrument cluster. I'm just not 100% sure yet. Anyways, we got a lot of work to do, man. I haven't really received any real parts to make videos on this yet, but obviously I will be filming a lot of that progress and it's gonna be a lot of fun. We have a ton of work to do, man. So much work, so much time, so much money, but in the end, it'll be worth it. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. I will see you in the next video. Peace.